So this video is a spoiler. I'm Absolute Barstool and welcome to some more F1 2019. So on my last attempt at starting this video, my PC didn't detect my wheel, which was rather strange. So, to get ourselves started, we're going to find our flow with the very stuck to the ground machine, the Ferrari F2007. We'll take this to Belgium. A nice flow-in circuit which is very round, very curvaceous, very sexy in its own way. It's very obscure as well, I can't see it in the menus because I'm blind. So importantly, this is a decently easy circuit to get your car around if you have some of your wits about you. Now, for the purposes of this track, it's not quite a top speed sort of track. It's not full on in regards to just sort of blitzing around everywhere at 200 miles an hour. That's more Monza's job. We give this a little bit of camber, a little bit more toe, a little bit more stability as well. Make the suspension nice and soft as well to absorb those bumps and make sure that the tires have the maximum level of available grip at any given time. Soften that front anti-roll bar there to make most use of the camber. And keep the car quite low, because the lower the car generally, the higher the amount of zero drag downforce. And this is coming from an aerodynamicist that has never studied aerodynamics. So, that's our car. And this is our attempt at driving round Spa-Francorchamps shop. So, what am I doing with this video? Well, we have some nice and juicy challenges into invitational events in the championship menu. These entail all sorts of pursuit challenges, different... okay. Levels went a bit weird. There we are. So, different pursuit challenges, checkpoints, mileage, all that sort of thing. Time trials, that's a big one. And the idea is that we're going to have a lot of fun. Still learning how to drive without ABS. And we're going to get a sense of variety there. We're going to force ourselves to drive cars maybe that aren't so desirable in my eyes, because I'm a big fan of nimbleness and grip to the maximum degrees. Now, note the word nimbleness. This does quite emphatically exclude the modern Formula 1 cars because they weigh as much as a tank. They weigh as much as the Mercedes W196, and that car's, what, 60, 70 years old? Not on. Personally, I think they need to get rid of the hybrid tech or just strip it back, make the cars lighter. Because lightweight is one contributor to safety. Don't quite have to make all of those crash structures as solid and as unyielding as you do with a heavier car. You don't need to over-engineer your tyres as much with a lighter car. You don't need as much horsepower with a lighter car, and so you can make a less efficient engine. So yeah, good engineering, really bad designs and basic principles. Yeah, with that in mind, this Ferrari F2007 is a lot of fun to drive, if not the best driven. So we'll wrap this lap up and get started on the box of treats the Codemasters to package this game with. I'm going to try and tighten the line on there so I can get near the curb and get that hammer dropped. As the tyres are full of grooves, you note that the last car that I set a record round here with was a Ferrari F10 with full slicks, with more sleek aerodynamics, and therefore a higher top speed. And don't forget that more advanced version of the V8. Flick it in there. And so, am I going to do a good job of that bus stop chicane? The Apex 1, Apex 2, creeping onto the throttle, felt the back end kind of getting loose. And there we go, a really shit lap of Spa. So, get back into the menus as I'm smacking my controller into my chair as if I don't give a shit about it. I'm clumsy, very clumsy. So we'll bear in mind I've already completed the first challenge, so I'm not going to go over that again. Essentially, it's a decently easy checkpoint challenge with Lewis Hamilton's McLaren MP423 around Silverstone. We're going to start with a pursuit with the Renault R26 on hard. For someone of my level of skill, hard difficulty challenges tend to be appropriately challenging. They don't give me the win, they make me fight for it. But importantly,
here we are,
it is possible.
Calm before the storm as we wait for this field of iconic cars to burst into life.
I've got to know, that sky looks really shit.
Today. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to be here.
If you would give me a second. I can't be doing with that. No, it's not in that menu. Because it wasn't just me, was it? It was pixelated. It was a privacy sky. Yeah, I don't know, that's maximum. Yep. Chalk me down as being confused. And now you know what graphics card I use to play this game on. Now in 2006, traction control was not banned yet. So all you have to do is manage the start. And then let the traction control do the rest. Reason being that these are quite powerful V10s. And they send you. 2006 of course being the final year when the V10s were in force. Monstrous engines. And then the V8s came in and everyone went, oh, these are a bit milquetoast, I don't like these, they're not very, you've got no power, oh, I can drive Morris Marina faster than this. To which I say, that's bollocks. Of course, if you take yourself off an intercontinental ballistic missile and then strap yourself to a Hellfire, you're not going as fast, but you are still suffering from quite extreme forces and temperatures. This is some of the best motorsport engineering in the world. Now, then, it doesn't matter. No, the real thing people should have been moaning about back then was the tyres. Because tyres, of course, ran counter to the objective of technical regulations and ensuring that overtaking is at a maximum. How the fuck are you meant to overtake with no mechanical grip at all? If you want to slow these cars down, just make the box narrower for the wings to fit in. That's all you need to do. Or just design a car from the ground up, a la 2021. Oh, and by the way, they're gonna fuck those regulations up mightily. It's the FIA, it doesn't matter who's running the fucking sports, if it's Liberty and the guy with the massive fucking moustache, or Bernie with his CVC, whatever that was called. They're out there for profit. And these engineers are smarter than to allow a field of cars that can overtake. So, yeah, that's a sad state, isn't it? 2006, however, that wasn't a golden year for overtaking, but if I do remember, they were quite good for position switching, owing to very, very thirsty engines and very, very frequent refueling between those sprints. Also, this car must have shit brakes, because I've not locked up once. I don't get it, this car's a piece of piss to drive. Of course, a machine like this, you can't spin it out. So this is the easiest car in the game to drive. Only thing is sightlines. I'm playing this on a very small television. And so 1920 by 1080 doesn't really count for a whole lot for me. Oh. So now a word on marketing. Usually when Codemasters are finishing up an F1 title, oh, I've managed to get the back loose. Okay. Yeah, so usually when Codemasters are finishing up an F1 title, they're kind of slightly overshooting Gamescom. And so what they can do is that they can get Deep Silver to set up, I think, what was it, 16 placey formulas in a line abreast and demonstrate the game for, don't know, maybe 150, 200 people, very lucky each day that the convention is on. A lot of people in and out of the queues. And the big thing is, this gives them the opportunity to show off the Fanatec partnership that they have. So now the problem with releasing an F1 game in June is that
Welcome to today's invitation.
they're not going to move that convention at Kölnmesse just to accommodate the release, the early release of a Formula 1 title. So we didn't get to play with those Fanatec wheels before the game came out, which I think is a mighty shame. Because I'll face it, the Thrustmaster T3 PA pedals are pedals, basically. They're just somewhere on a level with Logitech's pedals, with the G90 or G29 and G920, the PS4 and the Xbox One. In fact, I dare to think that the pedals with Logitech wheels are a bit better than the Thrustmasters for the money. And then you get the feel that comes through the Thrustmaster T150 and T300. They demonstrated Formula 1 with the Thrustmaster T300 at Gamescom and EGX. And I've got to say, it didn't really get done much justice. We were playing with a Ferrari F10 wheel on there, and you didn't feel any detail on the road, any force, any kind of anything. Whereas they did set the Fanatec's up, and when they did set the Fanatec's up, my good God, you got to feel that shit. Save your money up. Buy this game, a good PC, any kind of monitor, and that Fanatec wheel, and the appropriate play seat, of course. And you'll see, that's a fucking good wheel. I wish I had the money for it. It's a couple of grand. But bitching aside, this is good enough, this setup. It's a lot better for the game than I certainly am. Now how am I going to overtake Michalski? Easily. Very easily. So coming up to the back of the circuit now on lap 2, it becomes important to maximise pace, even if I'm not any good at this circuit. If it was available, I'd... Oh, it is available. Rich running. I'm burning the fuel. I should catch a TA this time, or a TA, or however they want to pronounce that name. I've missed the apex, and I'm going to miss the, well, I've not quite missed the other one, but I've missed the exit. And so, this lap's a fight. Got to use all of the technique. All of this V10's ability to take the car up to speed. Eventually, you can do it. There we are. Alright, so we can see him. That's the first good sign. And I think we're shutting him down with quite the ferocity. Yeah, so I love this little R26 machine. There we are. Yeah, when you overtake him, that's what is that? Is that a 1989 Williams? I wasn't looking at it when I overtook it. This firmly and confidently outpaces that machine to the point where that thing cannot catch up anywhere. Straights, he's got a massive power advantage. In the corners, he's got all the downforce. And there we go, that's a Sochi pursuit on hard. And if you're any good at the game, should be a piece of piss for you. I've got to say that the violent vibration on that wheel after I've finished the race would kind of give you a bit of carpal tunnel. Now, the hard one, the time attack. I'll be clear or finished with the overtake with the McLaren M23D on this video, but afterwards I'm gonna go through all of the rest, the time attacks, the checkpoint challenges, the pursuits, the overtake challenges, and take it over the course of a few weeks, right up to the end. I hate Mika Häkkinen's fucking McLaren, the MP413. Such a slippy car. And those massive gaps between the fucking gears. You might as well be driving with a stick. But that's not for me to say. The Short Japan track, it's a track where you're more like less weight than on a point and square track.
Putting aside for a moment
On those other kind of circuits, you kind of stop in and go in.
Today's historic invitational makes a
Why is
nice
that?
change of pace.
Why are we
It not only
fixed on
serves
the
as a way to revisit some of the best
wrong
cars
part
in
of
the
the
sport's
circuit?
history, but also gives the drivers the opportunity.
Anyway, enough video clips. That's for you to get the game and see. Ferrari 312 T4 with a rolling start this time, so it's merciful. And as you know, I'm not a very precise driver behind the wheel. I much prefer it on the nose. I can't see the revs at all. That's a problem. Oh, it just likes to swing. This is an interesting car. A very interesting car. Is it a bit too interesting for me? I don't know. I really don't know. See, I've got 1.5 minutes to do 2 more laps in this. I don't have masses of confidence in my own ability to do that. But then I did set it at hard. And I also chose to breathe violently into the mic and make this video unpleasant to watch. Sorry about that. Nope, you're not spinning out. You're never spinning out. It is, however, going to drag me outside into the infield. A bit of instant karma for shouting at Niki Lauda's Ferrari. Rest in peace, the poor man. Made a fucking good innings. I will say that. 50 seconds, can we do it? We're going to tidy up the line now, get some technique into this, and not miss shifts. Nope. Well, when I say tidy up the line, I meant kind of massively abandon it. I reckon it's best to restart that challenge, don't you? So it's a challenge of 2 parts. The first part is to fail it while learning how the car drives. And then the second part is to absolutely foot to the floor fucking nail it. Send it sliding around the circuit and eventually kind of make it over the finish line, hopefully. So we'll trim the speed off. Can't quite trim it off enough. Went really deep. But again, the key to this is smoothness. Get a good ride up the front from those rollerblade wheels with tiny little brakes in them. Most of the work of this car is done with the rear wheels that are massive and wide and don't really seem to have any kind of grip benefit at all, considering. But then the shape of this car is, well, wonky, to put it lightly. I don't know, I do think the Codemasters are giving this car a little bit too much credit as far as aerodynamics are concerned. So I think the way it was the 312 was one of those Ferraris the Italians like to call the Spazzaneppe, which is the snowplow. Because that front wing does look like a blade that scoops everything up, cuts Marshalls in half. Well, not this one, but one of his competitors. Also, that man rest in peace. Sorry. But yeah, the less we talk about South Africa, the better. I think James Hunt would have been a bit upset about that place. 10 seconds left. I think we've done it, guys. We've done it. Not in the most tidy of ways. Knuckles away from grasping that steering wheel and making sure that I'm giving it some Jensen Button steering. But 212, that's the way we go. I'm going to take another sip of water. I've got the driest throat in the world. And I'm going to prepare for the overtake challenge. This is the full USA circuit. And it is in the McLaren M23. Now in an unreleased video, I did give this car a try. And what I do like is the fact that it weighs just about as much as a teacup. There's no real weight to shift when it comes to putting the steering in. And also the brakes really stop this car. All of the 10 grams of it. Of course, when it comes to sweepy corners, as you're going to see, it does sort of like to become a little bit of a handful at unpredictable moments. So the trick is to kind of be commanding with it, but also be very sensitive. Just like a submissive wife. Okay, sorry. Sorry. I didn't mean that. You can come back and stop being offended or whatever. I just don't have a sense of humour. I've just got to resort to saying offensive things in order to come across as someone who's got one. What are those rivets? I've never seen such a well-riveted surface. I think they took the upside-down airplane wing thing a bit too seriously when someone was describing it to them. And we got a Lotus coming up. Take them to the cleaners, whilst forgetting where this corner goes. Another warning. One or two more of these, and I will be disqualified. Very disqualified. And I'll have to try it again. Go on. No, well, no, you see, what I've done there is I've kind of binned it horribly. And that's a restart. Come on, Barstool, final challenge. You can do this. So I do maintain that I like this car. And its eagerness amongst a field of very softly sprung and very swingy and porpoisey kind of machines was one of the very factors of this car that made it so successful. The other being the absolute fucking legend who was driving it, but you know, let's get the engineers some of their due here. Can you go any slower, please? You're quite defensive about their actions. Is that illegal? It is illegal. Come on,
Okay, you need to get that position back. That was an illegal overtake.
So, unfortunately, I'm not James Hunt. I might be about as faithful in the corners, but that's kind of where the similarities end. Because he brought skill with it as well, and drugs. Loads of drugs. And sex. And suaveness. One. Drive to the car's limits today. Not the other car's limits tomorrow. Done that. We don't want to take the IndyCar line around there because that wouldn't be very legal. So Nico Mikulski with the power. And ahead of us lays the rest of the challenge. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to probably take another attempt at this, as it may happen, because I haven't been putting in a very good drive in the slightest. Kind of been wallowing all about the place and sort of hoping that the car will go around the corners. So this is what makes the invitationals, the challenges, so challenging, that there's such a broad variety of different machines, of different behaviors. Oh, you've lost me. Okay. There's such a broad variety of different machines with different behaviors, different personalities, that you're not going to get used to them unless you're a very mentally agile person. And this is part of the reason why I like doing these. It does improve your adaptability. Mostly. But here's a situation where my weaknesses don't really stop with the car. As it happens, I'm not particularly familiar with the circuit of the Americas. So I'm left to kind of turn in and sort of hope that the corner is there and it's not much earlier or much later. So I'm cutting the corners so much and extending them. Because how fast you need to go, I don't know. How much steering you need, I don't know. Where you should be looking, I don't fucking know. Oh, that's why the road falls away from you. I forgot about that one. So this was another feature that made as a Tilke Circuit of the Americas, so special in many people's eyes, is that for a fair while he didn't really give a shit about the terrain that he was designing circuits for. Whereas with COTA, he was very careful to make the terrain that he wanted to build this circuit for. It was a very profound degree of control that yielded... Okay, get past. That yielded what a lot of people think is one of the best modern circuits in the world. Though of course, when you create a masterpiece, there are going to be a lot of people who love your circuit, or your thing, and there are going to be a few people who absolutely hate it. Unfortunately, well, I can appreciate every element that went into this. The amount of thought, the amount of time, the amount of engineering, and the amount of money, not to mention the amount of ingenuity. I hate this circuit. I can't find a flow with it. And chances are I'm probably never going to get good at this. And then if I do get good at this, there are elements that I still won't particularly like this turkey corner. Which is a lot to hold on to. Shows off the faith of a driver during a race, but then kind of takes the piss a bit, gets boring. But I also just don't like the way the corners come together, or the way that hairpins are designed. So where they just kind of go away from you, and then you have to find them. If I do remember, the first place where I actually drove over that kind of hairpin was in the Budd circuit in India, which from 2011, F1 2011, I kind of forgot how it drives. So I downloaded it in Assetto Corsa, and take this for a surprise.
Okay.
I didn't like them either.
Please. We don't want to lose places because of
I didn't like any of those corners. But that's not to say that they can never yield a good race when people who hate those circuits are involved. India couldn't because it was way too narrow, way too sweeping. Whereas this can, because you can play football on the straights, and I'm talking association football here. And the corners, just the sides, the track limits just don't end, really. And then when you've got those sharp corners coupled with the massive amounts of tarmac that you've got to play with, well, it's overtakes galore, isn't it? Even today. So by the redness of the clock, I failed this challenge again. I told you I'm not really very good at this circuit or with this car. Mouth noises aside, we can't end this video on a failure. So again, around we go, being sure to work out what's going on round here, how to drive it. And I will go to TCAM if needs be.
Hello again, and thank you for joining us today for one of the few events this year that won't have a critical...
I do think that one of the big challenges with this pursuit is the low light. So where the window's tinted yellow and the circuit's kind of blind. At the same time quite flat, so you can't quite sort of make... Jesus Christ. You can't quite make out where the circuit goes. The mirrors as well. I've realised that the mirrors don't let you see the apexes. So it is quite hard for a pleb. We'll make it. Don't know where the apex is, probably missed it by miles. Don't let them rear size brake grip because that costs time. Try and slow it down, get the car directed into the positions that I need it to be. I'm meeting this guy at the worst possible place. And forgetting where the circuit goes. In my defense, I was trying to keep the car going straight. Okay. We're putting the camera on the nose. This is serious business now. Now you can really see what my ability is to truly fuck this circuit up. And forget that this car's got a 6-speed gearbox. What? Okay, I'm spending way too much time here. A lot more time than I should be. Get a bit of life out of that engine. Get it to sort of claw its way back in. Get around the TA. Good chase to Kaufman. Almost no steering. Careful of those brakes. Be careful not to waste any time at all. We'll keep on the toe there. Get a feeling though that the amount of gears is about to finish. Just in the nick of time. So Zeri, or sorry, I don't know, it looks a bit Finnish, but I have no idea how to pronounce Finnish names. We've got all of the steering going on. If I could drive from TCAM, then I'd show you. But instead I'm just going to have to do an overtake on Mikulski. Take my favourite corner and do away with it. So the final corner there reminds me of Laguna Seca, because I can't really go around that without going into the gravel either. Make sure that we're remembering where we are in the gears. And give firm chase to Levasseur. I'm going to get disqualified soon for being so vigorous, but I don't care. I've only got a minute left. 1 minute. 36 seconds. But also no command of the tyres grip because my concentration has just been broken. Right, can we get round him? I didn't set one up, so he's got me on every corner. Maximum acceleration there before we cut the corner there as well. Being a good old Max Verstappen figure. Kind of wiggle our way to the apex of that hairpin. before giving one to Coppens. One more warning for collisions and I'm sure I'm out, so more care there needed. Please, 50 seconds to do 5 positions. Got to bring that aggression into play. Now isn't me. I'm going to try and tighten up on him. We've hit him. Is that going to be a warning? It is a warning. Why haven't I been disqualified yet? We're not going to do this again. I honestly have no fucking idea how to win this. I honestly have no fucking idea how to win this. You see, at this point, I know that all of the impatient person has clicked off the video. And so that at this point now I've got no viewers, I can do whatever the fuck I want. But I've got to take some pace. Really apply it here. So, got to be perfect with the throttle, perfect with the steering. I don't know. Got to be perfect with everything. Bring a bit of experimentation into the mix. You need to be scrambling around there just to see where there's any front end grip, because that seems to come at a premium when I'm pushing like this. Come on. Sooner I'm able to get that power down, the better. I would notice it seems the Lotuses are slightly faster on this straight line than the McLaren M23, which I've totally lost all touch of spatial awareness with. And so this is another challenge attempt failed. But I would catch that ridiculous spin again if I could. So what do you know, you blab like an idiot for the first 5 attempts. You kind of do alright, but you don't quite succeed. Then you try really hard, then you end up trying too hard, and end up sending the car off the track. Loads. With no perceivable pace advantage. Isn't that sweet? Can I take care of a TA there? Yes, I can. Advantage 1 hunt. Or bar stool, as it were. So a bit more of this, bit of aggression. And learn to drive this car as if it is on ice, or as if it's wet. And give it enough faith. I'm sure we can do this. Already feels like I've driven a whole Grand Prix distance here. Just kind of the final assault. We go to the outside. So we can get that drive and wedge it in and scrub the momentum off as I'm steering into the corners. No good for the tyres, but I don't give a shit about the tyres. Also ensure that we're running rich. Come on, Levasseur. Kind of got it in there. Takes a bit of skill to keep it going in a straight line. But with rich fuel mix, we're blasting off. I don't get that. Why it loses so much there. I mean, I know it sort of dips itself downhill, but still. Guess I've kind of snookered myself for the final half of this challenge then. It's just so hard to be consistent in these cars. Especially after starting at Sochi with that R26. As beautiful a car as it is. Now, come on. Around the inside. Wedge it. Sister's brought me a cup of hot chocolate, that's motivational. And I've bought a cup of oversteer, so that's not very motivational. We've got 2 positions left, and not enough time to make them up. Nowhere near enough grip or power. And I do believe that this is probably going to be the challenge at the start of the next video, as soon as I get a bit better at driving the McLaren M23. 9 out of 10 though. That's not bad for about 5 or 6 hours worth of trying. And back to the menus we go. So you know the deal, as a small YouTuber with not really very many specific aspirations and not really much of a niche formed for the channel yet, you've got to kind of experiment. And the probability is that in a massively oversaturated market for F1 content, I'm going to dive in as well. Trying to look for that final 3 or 4 viewers who haven't seen what they want to see yet. And probably inspire none of those. But as you can see, this is what I do. And this is what I'll probably do later on. But remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it on Bebo, MySpace and Blogspot. And until next time, farewell.